Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of VCTV, which is a Venture Capital TV. This is the special episode of VCTV. We're going to talk with Patel from MyTokenized.Capital, where he's going to discuss what the benefit about to tokenize your assets. How can everyone benefit from our token? So he's going to go to the basics and he's going to take us through tokenization, NFTs, Bitcoin, and whatnot. So welcome back. Sit tight. Hey, Bru. Hi, good
How
to see you.
How are you, Sunny? Long time no see. 2 years, I think it was. I can't remember.
Yes. I think the last time we met was in London in some conference. If not London, it was Dubai.
It was London and Dubai. It was around the same time, all those mad travel days.
Absolutely, mad travel days. Those days are gone, but still we are meeting here on StreamYard, the likes of StreamYard, Zoom, and good to see you. A lovely background.
Thank you.
Lovely background as well. So, Mru, how are you? How has things been for you since the last couple of years that you met?
Well, I mean, in a sad way, it's been more busier and more productive than those travel days. If you remember when we met, I must have done over 100 flights in just 7 months. And then in January 2020, after a Miami talk, London talk, and this was third week of January 2020, after those 100 plus flights in 7 months, I said, you know what? I hear these things about COVID. I'm locking down. And I locked down. And the first flight I took was December. So it was good 11 plus months I locked down. But it's been busier than ever.
Totally agree. I mean, my last flight was outside of Singapore, where I live, was in 2020. It was London. I think that was the last flight I took, and that's it. I'm in lockdown in Singapore since then. But good to see you and others in the community in the crypto blockchain space through VCTV. And I gathered that you are in Dubai right now as we speak.
No, I'm not there right now. I'm going there next week.
Okay. So you're going to be there next week, and there's a big event happening in Dubai, as all of us know, in the crypto world. So let's just hear about thing about what's happening in that conference there. And and today you're going to talk about MyTokenized.Capital as well. So let's just hear from you. What is MyTokenized.Capital all about? Let's just start with that.
Okay, so we are disrupting the current unequal world. So as before we spoke, I was with sunmicrosystems.com and Java days in the 90s and all that. So I've had this vision ever since then. And that's what internet did for everyone 10, 15 years later in a big way, okay? And what with crypto is doing now, it's enabling the money side of transaction in a digital format. That's why a lot of the banks are doing CBDCs, etc. In terms of the current movement or fad or FOMO with NFTs and DeFi is concerned, if you go back to basics, in my view, decentralized finance happened for decades, okay? People were always financing. In fact, my first venture to buy a property straight out of university was taking bits of money from people I knew, and I bought a property, and then I bought a shop, and I bought Crowd financing then became the term. But that's exactly what it was. You took money, split it into bits, and you did what I call people-to-people finance, or PFI as I call it, not DeFi, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that happened for decades ago. Right. Now, NFT is the next fad, and I will go into non-fungible and fungible later when you ask me those questions, I hope. But then what happened was NFTs. Now, what is NFT? It's, in simplistic terms, it is something that is unique and sold. Piece of art, a building with a unique characteristic with its title, location, etc. Meaning there is no other like it.
Right.
In very simple terms, okay? A Mona Lisa original, etc. Okay? a
Yeah.
piece of music original. Exactly the same thing. So non-fungible token, the reason why it's become a fad is it's now using blockchain and cryptocurrency to
Right.
make it so. That's the only difference. But in terms of business or in terms of fundamentals, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And what we are doing is currently there's what 120,000 real big collectors of NFT tokens. And I believe this is not fair. It's not equal, because if you think, if you're a musician, you've got millions and millions of followers, people who buy your stuff.
Yeah.
If you're an artist, there's millions and millions of followers who like your art, can't
Yeah.
afford it. If you are a building owner, there's millions and millions of people who'd like to own a piece of that building to earn the rental incomes that the REITs and all these big investment funds do. Generally, people can't do it because you need big ticket investors. That's
Right.
why you get the big whales, the big fund managers do this sort of stuff. And what we are doing is disrupting all of that. We are taking, under MyTokenized.Capital,
Right.
we have created a socio-capitalism model where we share the profits with everyone. So if you like a piece of art and you like that artist or music, you can like, share, comment on it. And we've got an AI-based application that does that.
Yeah.
And it shares the whole profit model for that ecosystem. So now everyone gets involved. So where we have already MOUs with multiple musicians and artists, if they have a piece of photograph or whatever, we will share that with their community. So it's a mix between YouTube, Facebook, Rarible, OpenSea, and all that, all under one hat, where you can mint,
Right.
shard, buy, sell, and even trade and rent your token. That in
Okay.
a nutshell is what we do.
So you are basically helping the artist and the magician, especially during the lockdown, because their businesses, they're out of business mostly, right? No conferences, no big conferences happening. So I think this is a great, great platform for helping those people out. And again, what about the investors? How can I invest, or anybody can invest?
So we haven't started taking investments yet because we've been doing it all with our money and time and all that. But after Dubai, that's when we are going to start raising investments on it. So only for invited select few with slightly large ticket amounts. And there's a special strategic alliance partnership that we are doing, where
Right.
if someone's coming in with some value add, we create one partnership license for them. And anything that goes through them, they get a percentage of anything that goes through them, be it the initial trades or future trades, plus a share of the platform's profit as well. And that we are assigning to those initial investors.
Ah, got it, got it. Thank you, Bru. Again, talking about the event in Dubai. So what's this event all about? And what are you, I mean, how are you contributing?
Yeah. So this is the AIBC event. It's the people who do the Malta event with Iman and his team under Sigma. And this time what's happening is, because Dubai is more open and safe and all that, they're doing this event in Dubai, where expecting 3,000 to 4,000 people. And it's probably one of the first big live events, and they've been known to do the live events. And what we are doing is we are presenting a showcase of emerging technologies and some of the artists that we have agreed with to showcase that on the stand. It's the biggest stand at the event, and we are going to showcase them. But we are, again, disrupting that model. So
Right.
when people go to events or do an exhibition, they have to buy their own stand. They have to build their own stand. They have to market it. They can't afford that much because it's 10, 20, 30,000 by the time you finish doing a small 2-meter or 4-meter stand. We've got the biggest stand there, 10 meters by 10 meters kind of stand. And I've fractionalized that stand, talking blockchain again. So what I've done is each sponsor gets a spot on the stand where they can put their logo and all that. They will get corporate branding across the stand. But we've gone a step further. We create NFT avatars for them. Any content they want to create an NFT, we do that on our platform. So up to 5 items, we allow them to create an NFT, and we do that should they want it. We are then going to do an interview with them with the NASDAQ journalist Jane King. So Jane is flying in from New York. She does Market Side and Tron and quite a few other TV channels. So what she's going to do is she's going to interview as part of the package. So as an exhibitor, generally you don't get away with a bunch of useless cards. So now you've at least got some collateral of interview, collateral on the biggest stand where is most visibility, and they can brand it and put it onto their website, their investor packs. They can put it wherever they want as collateral for branding, image, trust, whatever you call it. Okay. Yeah. So all of this plus more we include in that package for sponsors. And it's $7,000, for example. That's it. One off, and they get that. Plus, we are going to do a footage like my 100 days to this. And we are going to create that footage of the whole event and give that to them and NFT it for them. And then the profits that come from it, we will share with the sponsors and the community for the likes, shares, comment to make them viral. And we have an app developed for it. So that stand fractionalized app has also been developed.
Wow, Mru, I'm totally blown away with the concept because, you know, NFTs on one side, but the way you have used that concept to help, projects to
help
showcase at events, because now with the lockdown, none of the conferences are happening in Singapore. As you know, it's only Dubai which is open. Yeah. None of the conferences are happening anywhere in the world except Dubai. But the way you have conceptualized it and helping all the projects showcase them, like NFT them at one booth, giving them fractional ownership. This is incredible. And I can already see this is going to be a big hit, huge hit. Congratulations for that, first of all.
Thank you. And they get away with collateral because when you are an exhibitor, generally you don't come back with anything, right?
Right, of course.
So imagine having a NASDAQ branded interview, and Bruce from Washington Elite is also going to do something there. And he has 1,000+ followers on Twitter. So all this is included in that package where I'm sure, by the way, I'm making a loss. So it's nothing about profit here. But should there be profit on future events, it gets shared with these people.
Right. Awesome concept. This is going to be a super hit, Mru. I'm telling you. I'm definitely.
Thank you.
I can feel it. This is going to super hit because the physical conferences literally have stopped. So which means that we cannot travel, right? And if you cannot travel and you're giving a platform, a fractional ownership and a collateral and a way to meet Jane King from NASDAQ and all this stuff, sitting just comfort of your home. Wow, this is incredible. So my next question is, how can this help companies? Like, obviously you said that if you make profit, they make profit, but how can they make profit in the long term with this, using this emerging technologies, or any NFT creator for that matter, to showcase or sponsor on the stand?
So for the stand, what we are doing is you'd come on the stand, you do your own thing over there. If you're an AI-based, blockchain-based company and you have a product, you can showcase that however you want, okay? You will get interviewed with the people that I mentioned, okay? Then you may have a specific piece of asset that is unique. It could be a white paper, it could be an architecture drawing. We can NFT that for you, mint, shard, etc., and give it to you, okay? Or put it on our platform. Then for them to get viral and reach, when our real MyTokenized.Capital platform goes live, Q3 this year, they will get that whole community reach from the same platform. So you don't have to go and mint in one place, shard in another place. You don't have to go and rent or buy or trade on another platform. You don't have to create your social media. 90% of the people out there don't even know who their buyers are, and they don't know who their followers are, the artists. Right. This way, you've put them under one umbrella. And more importantly, when you do future sales, where do you go? You always go to your existing people, right? Yes. So no one, OpenSea, Rarible, none of these guys give you that access. We give you that access openly. Why? Because we want to share it in a profitable way. Even the community, so we, the product of Facebook and YouTube, how people make money, we don't get money, but we are sharing that money now as that model, even with the viewers and readers. So they get engaged with the creator.
Right.
So that way they become more viral when they like, share, comment, right? So we tokenize all that. Our logo is Be the Coin. So we want people to be the coin.
Wow, this is something new and unique, and I'm loving it because I understand the concepts of tokenization and NFT. Obviously, we opened up last token, opened up a marketplace for NFT as well. So it's huge. I mean, I'm just loving the concept. But tell me, where can somebody find the details? If I have an artist or a magician who would like to contact you or for sponsorship, where can they find you and where can they find the details?
So first, just reach out to me directly. Not a problem. It's Mru, spelled MRU, as it's there, and MyTokenized.Capital. But the tokenized is spelled with a Z, American style. So it's
Right.
MyTokenized.Capital. Add me on LinkedIn, wherever.
Okay, and if they want to reach out through VCTV, they can always do that as well.
Absolutely, I'm there as well. And here's the difference. Everyone calls it NFT. I don't think NFT is the future. I really don't. I think it's tokenization of asset. It could be any asset. And then how it's done. So I started, in fact, in Singapore 4 years ago, before you were there with LA Token. And I spoke over there, followed by another event about 3 odd years ago with Tim Draper and everyone in the heydays of ICOs in San Francisco. When everyone was talking ICOs, I'm talking about tokenization of assets. That's all I was talking about. NFT happens to be just that. So NFT just now is targeted by majority of the people at the art, musicians, all right? Or people who have photographs or tweets, content. We do all this content. However, our next version, which is what I said, is going to have any asset where you can rent it as well. So imagine that. Imagine now, if you're a museum and you have a virtual gallery in the metaverse space, you can't afford to buy it. Okay? Right. So people who've created metaverses, you can't afford to buy these pieces. There's not many people like Vignesh out in your part of the world in Singapore.
All right. Yes.
Okay. Not many people like Vignesh buying at 70 million or 69 million. However, imagine a virtual area where it is a gallery where anyone can rent it and pay rental, just like how you have a building and people in a whole block or a shopping mall pay rent to be inside the mall. So the NFT is that shopping mall because there's only one shopping mall like that.
Yes.
And then you shard it into fungible tokens to say these are the fungible parts of that same NFT. Now you can rent it, buy it, trade it, sell it on the exchange, whatever. Wow. And that's what we are developing into an integrated platform. So my thing is, forget NFT. It's an NFT. It is the whole thing about tokenization of assets and bringing it down to basic business things that have already been happening into the new world. That's all.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mru. I have got some basic fundamental questions. What's the difference? Fungible token and a non-fungible token, and
I thought you'd ask me that one. All right, let me tell you in very simple English because a lot of people get this pretty much wrong. Okay, so a fungible token is anything that you can trade one to the other, and it has the same value. A Bitcoin from one place to a Bitcoin from another place, or another Bitcoin, they all have the same value. $1 note. Another dollar note, same value.
Yeah.
Those are, and when it's tokenized, that's a fungible token. Okay. So it's many of them. Nothing unique about it.
Yeah.
Non-fungible is the opposite. There's a uniqueness about it. As I said earlier, that shopping mall is unique. It's only that one shopping mall in one place. That specific virtual shopping mall in a metaverse world is unique. That is a non-fungible token. However, what happens inside it as a business, you can fractionalize it and make it into fractionalized NFTs.
Right.
Something you didn't ask, but I think it's very important because I see that's where the world is going, because that's how businesses have been happening. People don't buy the whole mall. They buy a little space in the mall. Yeah. Unless you're a whale, a BlackRock or whatever, and you buy the whole mall. And that's what they do. They make it into fungibles by renting it out, right? Same thing's happening in this NFT space or tokenization of unique assets. It's unique. Now you fractionalize it into a fractionalized NFT, and you can rent, buy, sell, trade, whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
And that's the main difference between them. So the world, in my view, will then, and this is what we are disrupting and have been creating for the last year and a half. So in that last year and a half, we've said, again, my vision, as you know, I'm a big visionary,
Yeah, sure.
is this world is not fair if it's just for 120,000 big investors, because that's
Right.
all you have, the big guys who are investing in NFTs.
Yeah.
Why not all these musicians, artists, movie stars, shopping people, whoever it is? Why
Yeah.
can't they get into this world? I think the reason is because there are a lot of people in our space who just like to make noise on chat groups and, oh, this is NFT, this is no NFT, just to up their profile as if they are experts. No one is an expert. They're all bullshitters, in my view. All right?
Right.
Because I'll tell you why. If you get back to fundamentals and tokenizing of that fundamentals, that's what NFTs, fractionalized NFTs, and all of that is about. Then you can buy, sell, rent, trade, whatever you want, whether it's a metaverse world, whether it's in a live world, whether it's in a Singapore big hotel gets tokenized. Actually, the sands would be nice to tokenize.
Actually, I was coming.
and that's the way the world is going. And then
Yeah.
people can go in a virtual world as well and be part of sands.
Yeah.
And people can also be in the live world and be part of the sands club. And that's where the world is going, by the way.
So because thank you, Amru, for bringing this up, because 2-3 years ago when I used to travel to Dubai for conferences, obviously real estate is a big thing in Dubai, as you know that. So I had been asked by many people that they want to tokenize a shopping mall, and somebody also asked me, I want to tokenize my own house. But back in those days, like that concept sort of didn't struck me that well. Like, they wanted to do an STO. They wanted to do a token. They wanted to tokenize and do an STO to raise funds. However, now that you brought up an example about SANS, tokenizing SANS, I think 90%, I think 80% of SANS is vacant now. And it's only open to the local residents, right? Because of the shutdown or the lockdown, whatever. However, SANS can think of tokenizing, giving fractional ownership. But how does that fit into NFT? Something that I am trying to figure out. But you can
get them to talk to me with you. I'll show you. Because 5 years ago, again, my background is also real estate investment. So 18 years ago, I created the first real estate investment fund in Eastern Europe.
Right.
After I left the corporate world, okay? I exited 2 funds myself, okay? Post the crisis.
Okay.
So when I first started this journey of disruption in the tech world after the crisis, having made and lost tens of millions,
Okay.
I set up a company called eProperty Wealth. Okay, that's how Valley knows me, by the way. Okay,
Right.
and I said, how do I tokenize this whole property thing? So I had a building over here in Bucharest, and we wanted to tokenize it. But the world was not ready. Just like how I said, when I was at Sun Microsystems and Internet and Java and Netscape, well before Internet Explorer and all these things existed, and Google, we paid for Google, we paid for some of these things to make it alive because it wasn't there. Amazon didn't exist, eBay didn't exist, right? I'd started the first e-mall in India as a venture capitalist well before Amazon existed. My India Plaza, I remember it very well. And this was well before Amazon, eBay's existed. However, sometimes in life, when you are too early, it doesn't work. Right. So when Sun started this Java and Internet, and I was visionary and running businesses in the hundreds of millions, it was difficult to talk to the Toys R Us of the world or the retail banks of the world to say, if you don't do this, you will not survive. There's a go away. People like to look, feel, see, touch. I remember distinctly the discussion with Toys R Us, and they said, oh, our kids like to come in and try a bike and play, and we create a community. I said, but it won't be like that. It will have to change. People don't have time. They want to go see a brand, buy, get the hell out, get it delivered at home. They won't buy it. Look what's happened to them. So coming back to your SANS,
and
I can help them. If you think about the same concept that I said, the whole building, can get tokenized. They can say, we want 50% of this to be either sold, rented, or whatever. They create a whole metaverse. People can go into the shopping area, and they might want to buy, I don't know, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, whatever, right? So they see it in a virtual world. those stores just like online shopping, but at a different level. But if you are an NFT owner of the sands, you get different levels of discounts, memberships, blah, blah, blah.
That's interesting now.
Okay, so I can tell you the whole vision, but everyone wants free advice from me these days. and by the way, that whole model, I know how to do it.
Right. Fantastic. So I think I can obviously go and speak to Sands, the management, and connect them with
I've got the man for you.
Awesome. Fantastic. So we're talking about the event, forthcoming event in Dubai. So what are the expectations? For example, if I'm a visitor, and because obviously not me personally, but somebody is going to be taking part in that event, what can they expect when they come back home?
Okay. So if you're a visitor, just as a normal visitor who comes in, you will see an exhibition, the usual stuff with various stands from various organizations in the AI and blockchain and emerging tech places. Again, as I said, we have the largest stand there where we've collected lots of people from the art industry, tech. LA Token's going to be there as well, by the way, in case you didn't know, etc., etc. And whilst it's COVID times, and I've had some so-called dropouts because people can't travel, there are lots of people still looking. So if you want, I can put you onto one of these stands, reach out to me, and we will showcase you with all the things we've talked about with branding, publicity. Then you've got top speakers from around the world in the blockchain space. Okay, so just go on the AIBC conference website. And go on the Dubai, and you will see all the speakers. So, of course, I'm speaking there as a keynote on a panel, plus various other people, including Brock Pierce, ministers, sheikhs, Marwan, Saeed. There's so many good top world-renowned speakers in this space speaking at this event. So then you have the usual networking events, the drinks, the dinners, awards ceremony, and a party at the end. So that's the format.
Absolutely. Crypto without after parties is not the end. I mean, it's not complete. Okay, what about those who cannot travel? Can they sit at the home?
Yeah, there is an online, as far as I know, there is an online viewing of the speakers and things like that. So that is available. Yeah, they're going to stream it.
Absolutely. Okay, great. I thought so. It's a hybrid model. Thank you so much, Ru, for enlightening so much about the event, about MyTokenized.Capital, sharing use cases, fantastic use cases as well, which obviously nobody thought about it. I mean, everybody thought about it a couple of years ago, but probably didn't know how to execute it.
That's the problem. Execution's key. Execution is key.
Absolutely. So before we wrap up the show, I would like to take some closing remarks, closing thoughts from you, Ru.
What would you want closing remarks on? Throw something at me and I will give you remarks on something.
I mean,
current market? How about current market?
Of course. Let's take it through. Bitcoin dropped down because of Tesla, couldn't be bought anymore using Bitcoin. Besides that, any other market news you could share?
Yeah, let me tell you, this current crash, that's a good one. This current crash with Elon Musk saying he's going to pull out of Bitcoin and because it's too energy consuming, okay, based on traditional energy, fossil fuel, rather than the green energy, okay? Here's my take on it, okay? Here's my take on it. And I've traded for 30 years. So I know what investments and trading and people's agendas and whale activities and all this are, okay?
Yeah.
So even in the 90s, by the way, you get this in every industry. You get the real big cartels who own the large percentage of any company's stock, and they move it and shake it. Why? So they benefit. So they know they've dumped it before, they make an announcement, and they are the ones buying. Look at what happened with Jamie Dimon. Oh, we don't want anyone to buy Bitcoin and we'll sack them. I don't want any of my investors. There he is buying it, and he's been doing it. Goldman Sachs, same shit. Sorry to say it. And call them out. That's exactly what they've been doing. All right?
Yeah,
why? Because a good way to buy cheap, right?
Absolutely. Oh, got you. Oh, got you.
Good way to buy cheap. All right?
Yes,
now imagine Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Let me give you another example. Warren Buffett. Okay, everyone listens to Warren Buffett. However, the clever people will know Warren Buffett's advice is fine for good, what I call railroads, infrastructure, major companies, blue chip, that anybody knows about. Everyone knows of Apple. Go and invest in Apple. You don't need Warren Buffett to tell you Apple's good, bad, or ugly. All right?
Yeah.
Just because he's invested it doesn't mean anything, in my view. All right? Doesn't mean anything. If you got any common sense, you don't need Warren Buffett to say, oh, I made 15 or 18% or 20% return in his best times, 20% return in my fund, whilst some of the other funds made 15%. So I'm fantastic. Now, if Warren Buffett, and he often does, calls cryptocurrency a scam, Ponzi scheme, blah, 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 it's like listening to Warren Buffett wanting to repair my Maserati or something. I won't employ him to do that. All right? Because he got no experience in this business. All right? It's like calling an electrician to repair a bloody Marina Sands or something for something else, right? You wouldn't do that. So why listen to people like that? Elon Musk and Bitcoin, you have to listen to. I'll tell you why.
Right.
He's one of the richest in the world. If not number one, it goes up and down. Two, he's a holder of 1.5 billion in Bitcoin.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, let me tell you, and three, he has Tesla, which the stocks are also going up, and all to do with the green eco battery powered stuff, plus all his other high tech stuff. I mean, so the guy's a very complicated guy. And I mean, who would name their kid the way he names his kid? I can't even say it, you know? So the guy's a complex guy, very clever, very sharp, and I love him for that. Okay.
Right.
However, the business hat on him, look at what he does. He's selling all his houses. He says renting is best. Why? Because with that money, he can make 10 times more money than having a house. Might as well pay rent, make 10 times more money. All right.
Yeah.
Two, there's about, when I last looked, about 1,000 people who own between 35 and 40% of the world's Bitcoin assets. Okay. Bitcoin about 1 trillion, for argument's sake, up and down.
Yeah.
Elon owns about 1.5, so it's less than 0.1, 0.15% of the whole of the Bitcoin market cap.
Right.
0.1, 0.15. The rest of those 1,000 people, okay, are the Winklevosses, the Grayscales, the MicroStrategies, the BlackRocks, blah, 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 okay? All these big investment funds who are also whales who have invested as much, if not more, than himself, okay?
Yeah.
Why Elon Musk is picking on it from the green side is he's had a lot of political pressure. He's had a lot of attacks from a lot of these people who are green and the anti current fossil fuel movements, etc., etc. And in the current government, that's what they're doing. So with all that pressure, he's not stupid, as I said. He's saying, how do I capitalize on it? He's seen what he's done with Dogecoin. He makes a message and the price pumps up like crazy. Exactly. Who is buying and selling? Elon Musk as well. So now he thinks, I've got a voice in this. I'm not insinuating here by all means, but this is how people think. If I make this and say it's green, I have two things to gain. I can say to China and all these other places, why don't you buy our battery farms and become more eco? So now he sells his battery farms, okay?
Right.
Two, he's dumped the price and guess what? He's buying it again. But probably been told, don't go around and blurt it around this time, keep it quiet. So these are the games people play when you're in here. So for the average investor, my view is look at the whole game. Look at the whole game.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is risky. Yet it is volatile. If you don't like it, get out and buy a Warren Buffett stock. Okay?
Yes. I think very logical points. I think if you're thinking rationally, why would that? I think he's the only one who is buying it now, as you rightly said. That's so.
But probably keeping quiet this time if he's as clever as giving credit for. because why blurt it out
Yeah.
when then you will become another Jamie Dimon, is my advice if Elon listens to this ever. Okay? Don't be a Jamie Dimon because he's been called down as a crook because he's the guy pumping and dumping it. I mean, you know why?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mru, for your time today, taking us through the event, what's happening, what's coming up in the event. If I'm lucky, I may see you in Dubai.
Oh, I'd love to see you. Love to see you again. Yeah, absolutely.
Love to see you, and have a great day. And again, as I said, if I'm lucky, I'll see you in Dubai. And take this for that time, please stay safe, connected, and I'll see you offline as well. Take care. And thank you
Absolutely.
so much.